like J.K. Rowling did when she got canceled by the Harry Potter cast, that only women can menstruate. Okay, can men get their period? Can you help my audience? Can men get their period?
Some can.
Okay.
Yeah. Trans men. There's some trans men who can.
But this, you know what? Okay, I cannot take it. Science wins on this. Affirming each other. I affirm you. I affirm you, Danielle. And if you guys that are mostly men out there don't like this, then what you're saying is that you're not affirming us as women. You better be an ally. You better be an ally and hoist up these two black girls. We need to be validated. We need validation. You're such a queen. Black girl magic right here. Black girl magic. Black girl magic. Yeah, black girls rock. Right, black girls rock. All right. Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. So we're going to be watching a video of Candace Owens. Marc Lamont Hill, he seems to think that men can have babies.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
I can't believe people think like this. So let's hear what he has to say, you guys.
I wanted to ask you, as a last topic about the LGBTQRSTUVWXYNZ agenda.
The agenda? That sounds so nefarious.
It is agenda. It is agenda. When you start, trying to get policies placed into school that allows teachers to call your child by a different gender, and as a parent, they're not required to tell you. They could be calling your little boy Samantha all day at school, and they don't have to tell you. That's an agenda, right? When you start trying to systemize it, to make it systemic, it becomes an agenda. And when you see how vicious that lobby has become, particularly the trans, I've said, like, you had me at the LGB, lost me at the T.
Why the T?
The T, because that's when you started telling people they were bigots because they don't want to play the crazy game. So here's my point. I think trans is a mental disorder. I think there's tons, gender dysphoria is a mental disorder. There's tons of mental disorders out there.
Real quick, you guys, do you guys think that the transgender is a mental disorder? I'm very curious to know what you guys think about that. Leave a comment.
People that walk around down the street and think they are Superman, think they have powers and they can fly and they're Batman. And I would never want to see that person attacked. I grew up in a family where one of my uncles had severe mental disorders and thought he was like Indian from a tribe or something, kind of got it because he was in solitary confinement for too long and he actually went crazy in prison. So I've always been sensitive to people that have, mental disorders. But when you start saying in society that you now have to pretend that Candace's uncle is an Indian, and if you don't, acknowledge him as Pocahontas, then you're a bigot, that's wrong. Now you're putting the pressure on me to not just be, accepting of this, but now to play the crazy game and to say, if you mispronounce and you don't call him Chief Pocahontas, then you're a bigot. Yeah. I don't play that game. I'm like, I'm going to live in reality. You cannot live in reality. You can say how you feel. You can say what you think you see. You can say that you think that, we're on Mars right now, but I'm not going to pretend that I see Mars because it makes you more comfortable.
So I would, obviously I disagree. And what's interesting is there are people, you say you're with the L and the G and the B. There are people who, 30 years ago would have made the exact same arguments against you for the L, the G, and the B. They would have said that there's scientific data, that these are people who have mental disorders. There's some misalignment between what they desire and what they're supposed to. That there's some kind of gender thing going on that they're confused about. I think that we have to do a few things. For me, I think the easy part, and this is the part I think you and I agree on, is that we have to accept, and we should accept people as they present themselves in the world, right? Like if someone says if I told you my pronouns were she, her, you would address me as she and her, right?
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
No, I would call you Marc.
Okay, but you wouldn't call me he.
No, because I mean, I would call you Marc, if that was something that made you comfortable. But if I saw you,
and if I said my name was Jane, would you then call me Jane?
If that was your legal name, yes.
But you'd only call me by my legal name.
Yeah, I call you by your legal name. I don't have an issue with that. But I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to change what these established pronouns for male and female because you say I'm Marc and here I am presenting.
So what do you? So I really want to ask you. I'm genuinely curious about this. But first, let me just say I think that one, this isn't a case of someone thinking there's something that they're not. What people are saying is that there is a misalignment between my sex and my gender. But
Disorder.
That's
the point. My mind and my body don't match. That's a disorder.
That doesn't make it a disorder. It just means that the world may be more diverse than we've previously understood it to be, whether we see it in plants, whether we see it in animals. There's all kinds of complexity. And we look in history. I mean, even we go back to the continent of Africa, we look in Asia. There's all kinds of examples of people who have complicated gender performances and complicated understandings of gender, and how we perform gender can be different. But I guess my question for you would be, why?
He looks really nervous.
I mean, he's also a college professor, so this is what you send your kids to.
There's like these overly liberal college. I think they actually said that I think it's in the upper 90 percentile of most colleges are all liberal, and high schools. The teachers are all liberal teachers, so you're going to be getting this.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Private school is still 60-40, so 60% of even private schools are liberal teachers and 40%, which is better. This is why homeschools become such a big deal.
Yeah.
And trade school has gone up because college, universities, and public school.
Private schools are slightly more balanced, or pretty much more balanced. You know what I've noticed about him though in general is that he has this where he looks like he's not necessarily believing what he says. And he's across from someone who absolutely believes what she's saying.
Yeah.
And so he's being met with that.
Well, first of all, he won't even look up when he talks. He looks down all the time.
I know, right?
Mark Lamont Hill is so woke. I mean, he is just one of those people that look at his Harry Tubman shirt, and he's
he does have a Harry Tubman shirt.
Black folk, you know what I mean? He's wear like black folk, and you know what I mean? And he believes in LGBTQ, and he's just anything woke. This man is interested in. You know what I mean? So
I'm not calling you him, her, he, them, they. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to join the delusion.
He believes in feminism and
all the stuff.
Feminism and abortion and anything that could be completely left wing.
Marc
he's in it.
Is there.
Reparations, it all.
If someone identifies as, particularly someone who you engage with, say it's a colleague at work or whomever, a family member, whomever, if they say, look, I prefer to be called she and her, and I no longer want to be identified by this name, why not just honor that?
If you changed your name, I will honor it.
But why not? I mean, I'm sure you call people by nicknames, dog. I'm sure you grew up in a black neighborhood, right? People, I know you know somebody named Peanut, right?
Yeah.
You're right. You don't say, well, that's not your legal name. Your mama named you Joe. I'm gonna call you Joe.
No, I'm saying if a name is one thing, but if you're asking me to change pronouns, I'm not going to do that because these are established pronouns. You're asking me to now change the English language, right? We know why we call female she, her, girl, woman. Okay, these are words that have meanings. These are words that have meanings. So this is a book, right? So could you call this is a book and this is a mug? Could you call this a book and call this a mug? Yes, you could do that if you want to change it, but words have meanings, right? So now if I switch it and you say, well, this mug wants to be called a book, it's a mug. It's just a mug. This is the word we've established for mugs. This is the word we've established for books. So you're asking me to change the actual meaning of words to accommodate you. I'm not going to do that.
No,
I'm not going to do that. It is because not only is it a request, you can now get in trouble in certain states.
I'm saying that's not people
for misgendering someone.
The request of the trans community is not that I'm actually a man, but I want you to pretend I'm a woman. The argument of the trans community, which I agree with, is no, I am a woman. And so I want you to revert me.
But you're not a woman. So that's the problem. So this is what I say is now you've asked me to take on your mental disorder, right? So I am okay with the fact the argument from my uncle who thinks he's a Native American from a certain tribe is that this is what he thinks. He thinks, but he's not. Okay, so I'm not, then to say to me that argument is valid because he thinks it, no. Just because you think something doesn't make it real, okay?
But that's exactly what gender is. Gender is exactly about an experience and a performance and a social construct.
It's not a social construct. Stop saying a social construct. To say that words don't have meaning and they're socially constructed means nothing, and I'll tell you why.
They are.
But you say that, but then
This wasn't always a book.
Okay,
this could be called mug.
So then you know what it is? Our entire discussion about Black America meant nothing. There's no such thing as racial injustice. You see what I did there? Because Black is a social construct.
Yeah, but we live in a social reality. So within that social reality...
It can't be both, Marc. So you either think that the gender wage gap is BS, that feminism is wrong, and that racial disparities are all BS because everything's a social construct. You're either going to go full postmodernist and say nothing is real and it's all made up, or you're going to acknowledge that there are some hard, concrete truths. If there are hard, concrete truths, you and I are Black, okay? That's not going to change because we wake up and we decide, you know what, today I'm white and it's just how I feel, and today I'm Chinese. No, no, no. You and I are black, okay? We are acknowledged as black people. We're sitting down as black people. I am a woman. You are a man, okay? Now, if I want to wake up tomorrow and say I'm a man, you want to say you're a woman, and we want to play the crazy game, we can do that. To then say all of society now is to pretend that it was all a social, no, it was a social contract. You were born a male. I was born a female.
Yes, that's a sex.
We are black.
But see, this is what makes me I understand what she's saying is absolutely right. Because what makes me upset about all this, I don't know if upset is the right word, but is that we all have to change because there's a small group of people who have changed, and if we don't go along with their change, then there are actual problems right now where people are getting in trouble for misgendering, as she said. So that's the biggest problem with all of this is just that, is that we're changing language, you know?
Transgender is 1% of the population, but it's like 80% of the conversation.
Why?
And I don't understand that.
That
doesn't make any sense at all. You know what I mean? Like she's saying what's true. If I wanted to be white, I can't be white.
Yeah.
And just because I was someone who wants to be white doesn't mean that everybody else has to walk around and pretend that I am. That's not that. If I want to, like she said, you want to play the crazy game, you can do it.
You can do it. Go ahead.
But don't expect everybody else to play into your like a delusion. You know what I mean? If you are, someone who is transgender, no one wants to hurt you. That's not the point. But when you're telling me that now my livelihood's hurt because I don't play into your livelihood. That's when we've got a problem now.
My language does not have to change based on what you believe your reality is. This is a silly... Again, I don't even believe that he believes what he is saying. I think he's going along with it.
I mean, a lot of these black people that are like this, their job, they make money off of this. This is the reason why they play this game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like again, this is what you're sending your kids to college to learn. Like... professors, not just black, white professors, liberal teachers who mostly take over the universities, and this is what they're teaching. This is why you have so many white kids, black kids on TikTok with blue and pink and colorful hair talking about their them, they, and they don't, and their cats and animals, and I'm wolf spirit and all this. And it's because they have been told that everything's just a social construct. There are no real facts. You are what you believe, not what anybody else believes. You know what I mean? And the truth is she's right. If she was to say, if a white person said, well, no, then racism was all a construct, something he bases his whole career on, is racism and oppression. Then he would be like, no, that's not fact. Because it would go against one of his beliefs. Right. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is just mind games. And it's also freedom of speech. People should be able to say and do whatever they want, still hold their job.
Right.
Okay, it's a color though. Black it's a word that we use to say a sex. Female is a word that we use that has a meaning. It means you are born with a vagina. You can have children. You have a uterus. When you are a male, you are born with a penis. You can get a woman pregnant. These words have real meanings. We cannot suddenly get into a society where there are no truths.
So to acknowledge a social construct does not mean that we ignore biology, and it doesn't mean that we don't have.
Can men get pregnant?
Depends. I know.
What does it depend on?
I know trans men that can get pregnant.
That means it's a woman. Only one sex can get pregnant.
That's a circular argument. That's
not a circular argument. Yeah. It's proving my thing. There is a truth, a concrete truth. You have to be born with a uterus to have a baby. Only women can get pregnant. The fact that we've arrived in a society where
that's the part I'm disagreeing with. That's the part I'm disagreeing with.
There's nothing to disagree with it. These are facts. So you can say that this person who is pregnant identifies as a man. That person was born a woman. I can tell you that every single time because only women can have sex because there are concrete truths about life.
Have babies.
Can have babies, pardon. And that is a hard truth about life. You cannot make that go away because you want to call a man, somebody who has a beard and dresses like a dude, a woman. Only if it's pregnant, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's a woman.
So I'll give you, let's go back to the social construct thing because then it'll answer the thing you just said. I'm not ignoring what you just said. I want to tie it together. So the idea of, my point was that a social construct doesn't ignore physical realities, right? The social construct is about how we as a society make sense of those physical realities, right? So for example, you said we're black. Sure, right? I'm trying to think of, you pick a light-skinned black person, right? They're black, right? We'd agree on that. Mm-hmm. Now let's go to the Dominican Republic. Mm-hmm. Let's go to PR. Let's go to Puerto Rico. Let's go to Jordan. Let's go to Iraq. Let's go to Sudan. Let's go to Ghana, right? And let's go to South Africa. I'm picking these places very specifically because they have different racial logics and racial paradigms. And what it means to be black here, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a universal blackness. right? If in Dominican there might.
So the mental gymnastics he's playing right here makes me sick because when you live in Iraq, that is your race. That's your race. When you live in Africa, all those different countries in that continent, you're that race. America puts us in areas because we're a melting pot. Right. When you're in China, you're Chinese. Yeah. There are no black people because everybody's one race there. Right. The great majority of the country, and in the upper 90%, there are all Chinese people. If you go to Japan, it's the same thing. If you go to Africa and different parts of that continent, you'll find people from Kenya. They're all Kenyans. You know what I mean? So he's trying to reach. Yeah, the mental gymnastics. America is unlike other countries in that we have all the races in this country. So we call ourselves black or African American or Negro or a person of color or a colored person. We've been different things throughout whatever. And what he's trying to do is trying to play this mental game like we're like other people in other countries. We are a much different type of country because we have a lot of different groups here. People like him do this often where when they realize they're losing an argument, they go outside of the topic. They go outside of what we're actually talking about. We were talking about American people and the way what they are saying right now today in America. And he's trying to go outside of America because he's trying to make a ridiculous point here. It's like, no, Mark, you know what she's talking about.
Might be 5 different other racial categories, right? And there are some light-skinned black folk here who, when they go to Ghana, get basically seen as white, right? Because of how we socially construct it. Doesn't mean my biology changed. Doesn't mean my physical reality changed. But how society engages this stuff is what makes it a social construct. So similarly, when it comes so I'm not ignoring the realities of race. So with race and racism in America, and then I'm going to take it back to the gender thing. When it comes to race and racism in America, it's yes, biologically we're all the same, right? Black people, white people. There's an infinitesimal difference between a black person and a white person in terms of our genetics, right? This is superficial stuff. But that's a biological reality, right? It's a biological fact, right? Just like it's biologically true as me being born with a penis, right? But the truth is, but the idea that there's social meanings attached to that blackness that make people fear me or that make people think that that person's life is worth more because they're white or whatever. Those are social meanings that are arbitrary and different. So to acknowledge social constructs doesn't mean you ignore biological realities.
But you just did that when you said that men could give birth.
So similarly, what I'm saying is that I'm not denying the biological reality of maleness, of the genitalia where it's signed at birth and what we can do with those body parts. I'm not denying that. That's a biological reality. Again, the social meaning I'm attaching to it is what I'm saying is more complicated.
But it's not complicated. Can men give birth?
Sometimes. That's my answer. Yes.
And the answer that is crazy. And this is we cannot. It's just crazy. We cannot allow this to happen.
But you wouldn't say the definition of being a woman is the ability to give birth.
And I'm not saying but only women can give birth is a factually true statement. Only women can give birth. There's only one type of human being
only
that
people
can
with
give
uteruses
birth.
And vaginas
and stuff can give birth. Only women can give birth. I'm not disagreeing with that. Birth.
I'm not. And here's what I think we're talking past each other. What I'm saying is, I'm not disputing the fact that certain body parts yield certain kinds of possibilities, right? What I'm disagreeing with is the idea that is the measure of whether or not you're a man or a woman in society.
Okay, but it has now come to a point where if you say that only women can give birth, you are called a bigot. That is crazy. That's nuts. If you say, like J.K. Rowling did when she got canceled by the Harry Potter cast, that only women can menstruate. Okay, can men get their period? Can you help my audience? Can men get their period?
Some can.
Okay.
Yeah. Trans men. Some trans men who can.
But does he know what? Okay, I cannot take it. This man is literally not believing what he's saying. Science wins on this. Men cannot have periods.
And this is all Marxist, you know what I mean? Like this Marxist idea that men and women are exactly the same. This helps the feminist movement. So what he's doing is helping feminists by erasing what's special about us. Yeah, you know what I mean? Saying men and women are the same. Men can get pregnant. You know what I mean? You know, men can get pregnant, and all of this is lumped into one.
It is.
This is why this victim culture is really dangerous. Is because what it does is it tries to erase what it is we are. Yeah. And they're doing it on purpose because if only a minute amount of people deal with gender dysphoria, and I believe it is
it's a small amount.
It is a disorder.
It is. Yeah.
It is a clinical disorder.
But it's rare. It's very rare.
I mean, it's supposed to be. So the idea that we are now talking this heavily on 1% of the population that has to go through this, in which that 1% of the population, no one's going to I mean, I'm not saying that it can't and never happen. Like, we can all be hated on something. Like, you can be, someone can hate you because you're black, someone can hate you because you're gay, someone can hate you if you're transgender, some man can be misogynistic to you because you're a woman. That can happen. But to pretend like this is the biggest thing going, you know what I mean? When only 1% of the population deals with it, but we are now firing people, blurring the lines of gender, changing the names of what things are,
trying to force people
this little conversation.
Trying to force people to change pronouns, language that you've only known. And watching him do this is just bizarre. It's very bizarre,
right?
And it's Marxist. It is.
It's Marxist.
Very
it's
Marxist.
This idea that there are no real truths, that you are just what you think you are. You know what I mean? And it's funny to me is because with transgender, people make the like Gabrielle Union did it. They make this idea that gender is just fluid.
Yeah.
There is no real truth in gender. But if a white person says that they're black, like the lady that was in
Rachel Dolezal did that. Yeah, she did that.
Or that white guy from Australia that made himself Asian. Or if they say the race, and all of a sudden it's a problem. And to be honest with you, to me, race is more fluid than gender. Because race, I'm like I said, I have white in my blood. Along with German, Irish, black, you know what I mean? So my point is saying is you have more of a chance of being fluid racially than you really are when it comes to sex. Because sex is just what it is.
Right.
You're either male or female.
That's science.
Intersex is something else. That is very, very rare. That's even more rare than someone being transgender. But transgender really has nothing to do with like intersex. Intersex is deformity in your body where you have both organs.
And I think
But transgender is a mental thing. You have the one organ that you have a uterus or you have a vagina or a penis. So that is more of a mental thing. So to sit here and pretend like this is something every family has to deal with is crap.
Well, and now what's happened is that mysteriously every celebrity has at least one child that's, you know, not just anymore gay and lesbian. Now everybody has at least one child that's transgender or at least has different pronouns.
And again, I think it's okay to ask interesting questions. I think it's okay to have intellectual debates. But I don't think that we ever want to enter a space where we deny the humanity. And I'm not saying you are, but to deny the humanity or the experiences of other people.
Like I said, I was totally okay with trans. And
so again, here we go with feelings. And so what he's trying to do is what most people do when they try to make a point of this. Candace is making a point of hard facts and truth. What he's doing is going to the emotional. We want to talk about humanity. And the reason why they do that is because they want to make sure that people are being treated with humanity. But now we have to forget. So what he's trying to do is say, forget what you see.
Forget reality.
Forget your lying eyes.
Forget reality.
But now you have to emotionally be bonded.
Right.
Because if you're not emotionally bonded, you can't understand. That's true. If that's how they try to get us in our emotions all the time and in our feelings. Because if you can't get into your feelings, you know, you can't be a white person walking around saying, I'm an ally. They get you emotionally so you can somehow feel like black people, you think black people feel. The same thing here is that they want you to get into this emotional state so that you can now feel what it means to be transgender. You couldn't.
You couldn't. You're not.
And that's how they do it.
You wouldn't understand that world.
Everything on the left is about feelings. And that's the problem. It's not all what they're saying, it's the way they say it. Everything is about how you feel. You feel. You know what I mean? Women are feelings. It's
but you know, when I was liberal, I was like, it was like feelings based. It was feelings based with me as well.
But if I ask you guys, what do you think is nicer? Telling someone the truth, even if it hurts them. I mean, hard truth, like you need to tell them the truth. Is that love, or playing into someone's delusion and watching them miss out on their life?
So it became a demand. What you are denying is my ability to be an intelligent human being, right? You're denying my ability to talk about science and biology in a meaningful way. You are now making your existence is actually infringing on mine. Okay.
How so?
And because when you make it a requirement now that I have to pretend that men can give birth and men can menstruate and there needs to be tampons as the ACLU is fighting for and male restrooms, and if I don't see the reason, the importance of that, then I'm a bigot. I'm someone that doesn't accept. No. I accept you if you want to run around and you want to wear a dress and you want to call yourself Tiffany and you want to put a pillow in
Tiffany.
If you want, I don't need to know your name. It doesn't mean anything to me. If you want to call, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't believe your name is Tiffany. You know, if a person comes up to me and they're in a dress and a skirt and they say my name's Tiffany, okay, cool, Tiffany, cool, right? But when it becomes Candace is a bigot because she won't acknowledge that, you know, Tiffany Tiffany the man got her period and can have a baby. I'm not playing that game. I will
So
never
tomorrow,
back
I come
down.
on your show tomorrow, and I have decided that, or a year from now, suddenly I have reimagined my identity, and I have recognized and affirmed my identity as a trans woman, and I no longer want to identify as Marc. I want to identify, as, to use your example, as Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be like, this book says Marc, you're Marc. You'd call me Tiffany.
I'd call you Tiffany, but I'm not going to call you she and her, because that has real meaning, and I'm not going to play the
What's
game.
What's compromised by that is what I'm trying to understand.
My reality. You're now saying you've transformed your reality, and now I have to pretend that words have no meanings, and they do have meanings, right? So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to call you, hi, Tiff. How you doing, Tiff? Did you have a good day, Tiff? Great, Tiff. I'm not going to then say she. I'm not doing that. And if people cannot, if people the demand,
but you won't misgender me either.
What? I'll just call you Tiffany.
But and if they say where'd Tiffany go, you're not gonna be like, he just left. You'll say she just left.
I'll probably slip up once or twice. But
I'm not talking about
Tiffany
mistakes, but I'm
left.
saying you wouldn't intentionally misgender me.
No, I wouldn't intentionally misgender you, but I don't want Tiffany in my bathroom. I don't want Tiffany
but
in
you also
my
don't want
spaces.
tampons in the other bathroom. That's what I don't get.
No, I don't care. I don't care. I think it's stupid. I think it's foolish. I think it's dumb. But if that's really where guys want to go, do it. I don't care. It's not my business. It doesn't impact me. I don't have to go in the bathroom. But I don't want Tiffany in my bathroom.
And you okay? Are you okay with gender neutral bathrooms?
That's how most bathrooms are. That's all. Go on the plane. They're all gender neutral.
No, I got you. But I'm saying
bathroom, fine.
But
cool.
I'm saying designating a specific one, like in public spaces, like restaurants.
Yeah, I hate that they say gender neutral, because usually they just say bathroom. Like they don't need to say gender neutral. It just says bathroom, and we all understood that. That just.
Oh, see, and I've told this story before on the show, but I had a situation where I work, and these 3 people came in, and they wanted to use the bathroom. It was 2 men and a woman. Now, when I say that, they weren't presenting as the opposite. It was 2 men and then a woman. And then I was like, oh, okay, the men's bathroom's right here, the woman's bathroom is right here. Right? But they were clearly 2 men and a woman. And so when I directed them that way, I told the 2 guys this way. The guys said, we identify as women. So now here's the thing, is that I didn't know if there was somebody in that bathroom right at the time. So I'm like, you're men, you cannot go into a woman's bathroom. There's people already in there. And again, they didn't present as women. They were men. Beard, men. I can't have men go into ladies' bathroom. So I was like, no. And then they were super offended by that. Right? So we do not have gender neutral bathrooms here. This is what it is. And so you can't do that right now. Now, I don't like at all that transgender people that present as men go into the women's bathroom. We've seen way too many problems with that.
I mean, if you look like Blair White, then I can see where I wouldn't even notice, because she's presenting well,
right,
as a woman. I mean, so no one's going to say, "Oh, there's a man going." You would not know,
right?
You know what I mean? But if you're, Caitlyn Jenner, I'm going to know.
I mean, I'm going to know.
You know what I mean? And I'm just saying, it's in women's spaces. It's really hard to look. I get it. You're going through something. You know what I mean? But again, there are a lot of people, and there have been. I think there was a school where a person was trying to present as a man, and he raped a girl.
Right. Yes, that's,
you know what I mean.
There's been a couple
they have
moved
a criminal that was in the men's prison to the ladies' prison, and he impregnated two of the other lady prisoners. You know what I mean. And so, you know what I'm saying with this. It's not all black and white when it comes to this, because we're not talking about the 1% that actually believes it and they're going through something. We're talking about there are some people that are taking advantage of a system that is now trying to make its way into our society, so that we can all feel so bad. And then when women like the guy at the what is that, the spa, and the guy goes in, the woman comes out, and this man has exposed his genitals. She has her 12-year-old daughter in there. And it's like Asian Run, and they couldn't kick him out because they can't kick him out. But they were furious and embarrassed, and they were mad. And as a woman, when I go into a woman's space where it's for women, I expect there to only be women in there.
If I were to be in that bathroom today that this happened with, where I work, and a man just walked in, I would be very scared. Because I would be like, why are you, it just is very... I
wouldn't want to be alone.
I wouldn't want to be alone in a situation.
How that feels.
And it's not even that I'm scared of men. It would just be weird for a man to be in a woman's space.
Seems to be an extra step of virtue signaling to say gender neutral. You just put bathroom. Everyone knows what that means.
No, but a lot of times in places, like, for example, in our university, We have male bathrooms, we have female bathrooms, and
Yeah.
then we have gender neutral bathrooms.
You can just put bathroom. Everyone knows what it means. You put WC, everyone knows what it means. It means anybody can go here. That's always been that way since the beginning of time. And then suddenly the trans lobby wanted to say gender neutral, and suddenly we had to put gender neutral.
That's so fascinating because I find it actually to be the right in this case, and I'm not.
Planes. Do they say gender neutral? Or they
I'm
just
with you.
bathroom.
I'm with you. I mean, grandmom's house.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, right? I mean, no one called it gender. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I often find that it's the anti-trans community that's like, oh my God, the gender neutral bathroom.
Because it's the
God made bathroom for man, bathroom for woman. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, they've always been just bathrooms. Usually at small places,
So,
just
like,
bathrooms.
stop
It's
it.
fine. But like, I can't.
So now he doesn't realize it, but he's also discriminating.
Yeah, he
because
is.
he wants gender neutral bathrooms for transgender people. Why? I thought they were men and women.
Right. I thought they were.
So see how we can all play this game?
Yeah.
So now you sound like the bigot.
Yeah.
Because if you're a transgender person and you actually believe that you're a woman when you're a man, then he would think Mark on Hill's trying to say he's different.
They're saying they're a woman or a man. They're not saying that they are gender. There's no gender neutral. They want to be identified as either a man or a woman. They're not wanting the gender neutral
Calling
thing
me
either.
a cis woman, I can't stand.
No, you can stop that right
And
now.
I'm supposed to call you a woman,
Yeah.
but you're supposed to call me a
It's
cis
this woman.
woman.
So I get the new word.
No.
So I get the new word.
But do you see what just
the
happened
original gets the new word?
Right. But do you see what just happened there? He wants a gender neutral bathroom for people who are transgender.
Yeah.
Now, if he just got through saying, they're saying they're actually that person. So they actually believe they should be able to go into the bathroom that says woman or man if you're a trans man. You know what I mean? He's saying it would be good just to have a bathroom like that. Why,
Right.
Mark?
Why?
Because you're saying that that's what they actually are.
They're going to be
You
offended.
sound more like Candace now.
You're
in a way.
misgendering.
Right.
You're
See,
misgendering.
when you go down this crazy game line where we all start accepting everybody,
I
you
know,
get lost
right?
in translation. That's why there has to be truths,
Yep.
so that we don't play this mental gymnastics to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. So I can't be offended. Only you can
You can be offended. How's that work?
Stand the preamble to the Constitution. Any person can go here. We don't care whether you. Just
But
shut up.
I think
just put
that's
bathroom.
a good thing. I think
It's
that's
just
about
annoying. It's just the constant virtue signaling. Just shut up. Just put bathroom.
It's about affirming people's identity.
You don't need your identity affirmed on a bathroom sign. If you need
You
that,
do if you've been denied access.
It just says
That's
bathroom.
privilege.
It's not privilege.
That's cisgender privilege. It really
my
is.
God!
It is.
Stop with
Oh
this
my
made-up
God.
term.
Can I just talk about that cisgender
He
stuff?
says cisgender. Y'all, I cannot with the cis thing. I can't do it.
It's just made up words. I can't take
Why
it.
are we getting the new word? Why are cisgender male, cisgender female? What are you saying? You get the new word. You be the cisgender. Why am I being the cisgender? I know I am a woman. Low key, not even sure he's a man.
Right.
The way he's talking.
Cisgender privilege. It's just a bathroom.
All words are made up.
I mean, it's just
it's
a
a necessary
bathroom.
word.
It's like
No,
this
but what
is
I'm saying
like-
is, if you've been constantly denied access to something, affirming that you can come here matters because there's a long history of trans people.
just right bathroom.
Right, and I'm saying, just right bathroom historically has still excluded people who are visibly gender nonconforming. If you go throughout history, you know how many people are kicked out of restaurants and not even allowed to sit in the restaurant, much less use the bathroom because their gender doesn't seem to line up with what society's expectations. And so saying you can come here too is a sign of saying we welcome you. It's just like when you see like an ally sign or a rainbow flag on a restaurant. It's not saying that anyone who doesn't have one means gay people can't come in, but the point is because places have been so hostile, affirming that you can come in
Nothing
matters.
annoys me more than that crap. I mean, I tell you, nothing annoys me more than seeing that crap everywhere all the time. It's just, you gotta have the Black Lives Matter flag, the LGBT flag, the this sign. It's like, dude, since when are people not allowed to just buy furniture? I don't need you to have 18 different signs. Like, I just want to walk into the furniture store. It's not
Because
everything.
people aren't welcome.
Not
Would you be okay if they were American flag? Would you be mad at American flag?
Can you
hanging
help
up?
me? When were gay people in America not allowed to buy furniture? You're gonna have to help me
Right.
with that.
It's not specific to furniture, but gay people.
No, I'm saying like it's every store now. It's every store. They have to put a flag.
There is a historical narrative.
When were gay people not allowed to go into McDonald's?
As long as there have been McDonald's, and public, and this isn't specific to McDonald's. I'm saying that in terms of public accommodations, people who identify as gender nonconforming. We can talk about gay, lesbian, bisexual. But I'm talking specifically right now about trans folk. Yes, they're often denied access to public spaces like restaurants, like furniture stores, like hospitals, etc. And part of the reason, and again, there's plenty of data on this, is that when they're in public space, they're often criminalized. They're often seen as sex workers. They're often seen as doing something illicit, even if they're just walking down the street. So the reason you see an overrepresentation of trans women, for example, being stopped and searched and frisked or apprehended or questioned, even when they've done nothing, or presumed to be doing sex work just because they're on a corner, like literally they could be crossing the street. Is because there's an expectation of who and what they are, a social construct. And so, yes, to say, look, you can come here, we want you here, we won't be judged here, this is a safe haven here, is entirely reasonable. If I had a university, to use your argument earlier, and I think it's okay for a university on the website to say, hey, we value diversity of opinion. We want conservatives too, right? Now you might say, well, why do I need to say that? Conservatives should be allowed anywhere. But you would say universities are hostile spaces to conservatives. So if I wanted to signal to conservatives that they were welcome here too, I would have to go above and beyond to say that, because they're typically not. And so I would, by your argument, and so I'm saying similarly, if a place is denying access historically, a country, to queer folk or to trans folk, then I'm saying, yeah, we got to do something extra to say that.
Maybe we should come up with a flag for conservative people. I
think it's red, white, and blue. It has like 50 stars.
Oh, just America? That's it? We'll take it. Everyone start putting American flags so we know that it's safe for conservatives to go in.
One.
I will wrap this by saying I think this was a very important discussion.
Yeah, this is fun.
I think there needs to be more of this. We don't have to agree. But we cannot be scared to have the conversation. People benefit from seeing different perspectives. In the Black community, we are not all a monolith. I disagree with Marc on virtually everything he has said here. But I will
know what that does for me and my fans. Thank you.
But I will defend his right to say it to the death of me. I think we need more diversity of thought and more diversity of opinion. And I deeply respect you for coming onto the show and saying what you believe on and sticking by your guns.
Yeah, the fact that he came on is a step, because
no one comes on pregnant.
No one wants to be against Candace Owens, because that woman is relentless.
Well, in Pregger, most they invite everybody.
Yeah,
they never come because like liberals, they never come because I think it's because of what he just got. I mean, that interview, that whole interview is worth watching. But she really just
slammed him and everything. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
He's just
part of it. He just literally
but
part
also,
of the woke
it's just
stuff.
the way he talks and stuff. Like she really beat him in that.
Yeah.
He
was very uncomfortable with himself and around someone who's not uncomfortable with himself. So he was kind of like putting he put himself kind of in the lion's den there. But really, just because he was just saying stuff that I don't think he believes. And I think a lot of people are doing this. They're just saying stuff they don't believe. And that's why I think about the progression of all of this too, because like Hollywood gets involved in it. Everyone has to be, they always have a kid that's transgender, or I think even like J-Lo's daughter is like, a pronoun person too. Everybody has some kind of pronoun thing going on. It's like, what? When did this what are we doing? And why?